Hey guys, I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope you are not in DC because that just doesn't seem like a great idea. Just like I said January 5th and January 6th, I said don't go. And if you're there, turn around because it's going to turn into a utter failure. That's what we're seeing today with this thing that they are calling the J6 rally protest. I mean, it's just so silly. And what's great is people are starting to see that. They're seeing. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity to divide people further because they're starting to freak out. You've got people on the left, Nicki Minaj fans, and all these people questioning that situation, and they can't have that. So, let's create this new January 6th thing. Put barbed wire fence up around the Capitol. I mean, the barbed wire fence situation should tell you immediately that DC is so useless and should not even be looked at. But that's what they want. They want all eyes on DC as if they matter. And it doesn't. And it's great to see so many people finally seeing that and seeing that our state and local governments are where things happen. There is no solution in DC. I don't care if the greatest, I don't care, whatever, ran for president. It does not matter. The president was never meant to be an end-all, be-all for the entire United States. Our founding fathers were not stupid. That's why we have states' rights. That's why we have, the 9th, the 10th Amendment, and all our amendments to ensure our freedom and to keep these people in check. If DC was some type of ultimate authority, then we wouldn't have state congresses, state Supreme Courts. People need to start looking at the United States as like a Europe. How that they're all in this area, but they have different, there's different things. And that's how our founding fathers created this country, and that's how it should be. Because somebody in DC that just wants to create nonsense, insanity, like they've been doing, and do these power grabs that's just crazy. But we're starting to see that. We're starting to see, a lot of the southern states pushing back on all of this stuff. And this January 6th thing is just some sort of distraction. And if you are there, I would absolutely say leave. Like, there's no reason you should be in DC at all. You can't look to DC for anything. There's nothing there. They're trying really hard. And, I've talked about this before, how they are trying to control Louisiana. It's getting pretty bad, but we're having to stand firm, even though, it's not easy. Especially, we're not Florida, we're not Texas. We don't have a tourist industry. We only have like 4 million people that live here. We have the oil and gas industry, yes, but that has been such a conundrum of how things were set up. But either way, we're still standing firm on our situations. They have just stopped all construction, fixing all the damage that occurred at our schools, at our public schools. FEMA has not given any money that they were supposed to for our schools. So they had to stop all the work. And now, like always, the community is having to go in and pay for that to get it fixed. But that's what we have to do. We cannot look to DC. Yes, it's already our money. It's our taxes that goes to DC to create FEMA and the DHS and all of these different areas. But that's something that we need to start looking at too. Looking into our local and state governments as, if you're not going to do disaster relief, then we're not going to be paying you for that anymore. We are not going to continue paying out of our paychecks, our taxes every year or every month or whatever it is, however you pay your taxes. And those are things that are going to have to be done at a state level, and they can be done. You know, Florida has a lot of advantages. They've got a lot of the ports. They have, you know, the tourist industry, like I was saying, but they have a lot of military, both, you know, their guard, and they have veterans, and they have active duty. And Louisiana doesn't. And that's why Louisiana is such a target to DC, because they want to split up the South, because Texas could stand alone, Florida could stand alone. In Louisiana, with our oil and gas, with our ports, it would be the perfect, like, entry point for DC and their cronies, and it has been it just has been for a long time. But, you know, I think a lot of people weren't seeing it until they had to stop construction. It's always the weirdest things. When they stopped construction, the fixing of our schools, people were just shocked. This just recently happened. Our parish, which is, you'll have counties, other states, they had to put out a press release and say that all construction had to be stopped because none of the money was coming in from FEMA. And that's local money, that's for everything, but it was the schools that people were like, what? Are you kidding me right now? And that's when people started seeing, wait, what is going on? And so we have to fix our state. Louisiana is in such a situation. But the great thing is, when we're all doing this together at local and state levels, that's how we can fix things. And anytime you look to DC to try to help, to try to get things done, that's when you are just essentially selling your soul. I mean, DC has turned into just such a sham show, and it doesn't matter who's in that office. You cannot, you know, a lot of people keep saying, oh, Ron DeSantis run for president and all of this stuff. That would be ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, no matter what you think of Trump, whether you support him or not, I know he wanted to do a lot more things than he did, but he couldn't because he doesn't have that power. DC doesn't have that power. But whenever, you know, you have all the cronies all together, and we're seeing it's the same, both sides are running the same playbook. Occupy Democrats just the other day tweeted out how excited they were that landlords were trying to have their tenants vaccinated. And they were celebrating kicking out people from their homes if they weren't vaccinated. What, like, I mean, if that... I mean, I know most reasonable people know that Occupy Democrats is a complete, just Soros-run nonsense. But I think people are starting to see that something weird is going on, and that's great. They keep fouling up, they keep messing up, and that's what they're going to continue doing. But we have to keep our eye on what's important, and not following for their little charade games like this rally. I mean, that's just crazy. I'm sorry if your family member is locked up because of this, but it sucks. I mean, like, I tried to warn not to go. A lot of people tried to warn that this was going to be an utter failure. And it's like, what can you do? But are we supposed to all look over there while they're trying to pass this $3.5 trillion insanity, draconian, tyrannical takeover? No, we need to focus on that and focus on the vaccine passports and all of these other crazy things that they're doing. But we have to ensure that at a state level that it won't happen. Because because there's no solution in DC. There just isn't. And when people start realizing that, which, like I said, a lot of people are, that's when things can get done. And we're seeing that in Texas and Texas, I don't even know what's going on in Texas. They have a lot of work to do. I mean, they can do it though. But I think that that's why DC is creating this border disaster. That way they have to focus on that rather than the important things that, should be focused on. But anyway, if you're in DC, I would recommend leaving. Just don't get caught up in this because they're evil. They don't care. Like, if they have to create some type of false situation and people get hurt, they don't care, and they would do it. So I would recommend leaving if you're there, and don't pay attention to it. Just don't. Focus on your state and local areas and does it really matter if New York decides to have vaccine passports all over the place? No, not if you live in the South. Like, if you don't live in that state, then it doesn't matter. And that's what I tried pushing really hard when the abortion situation. You see all these people that are so pro-abortion running to these states that are pushing for abolition of abortion. It's none of their business. You don't live here. If you want to, live in tyranny, then live in tyranny. But we're not going to, and we're not going to. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling, I'm sure. But I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe if you would like to help support my channel. The links will be in the description and the pinned comments. As you all know, my channel is demonetized for now. Yeah, it's been demonetized for a while. But anyway, y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.